believe I've been cooking on YouTube for like 5 years, and I don't even have a classic French toast recipe, but today we're changing that. As you can see, I have actually taken this way too seriously. For most people out there, you're grabbing a loaf of bread, like your Sara Lee, you're throwing some eggs, some cream, maybe some creamer, some cinnamon, sugar, salt, whatever, throwing it on the griddle or your pan, and saying the heck with it. However, I took one step above. What if the actual white loaf bread isn't the best? What, can we get better bread? I'm a sourdough fan. What if we dry out our bread? Matter of fact, what if we change the custard? Matter of fact, what if we change a lot of things and make better French toast? I put a poll out on the Facebook group and the Griddle group on Facebook, if you guys are not aware. And basically it was like, how do we make better French toast? What's your secrets? And lo and behold, there were a lot of things that you guys mentioned that I tested behind the scenes. Now, there are some people that said, I don't know why I do it. My grandmother did it, and I've stuck with it ever since. One of the ones I'd like to mention is, should we dry out our bread? During the testing, I didn't think it actually mattered. I wish I could have like a dramatic effect right there. I agree. When you think about stuffing, you dry out your bread. That way it can absorb flavor. With the custard, you think it would do the same thing. The reality is, did you think it mattered?
Well, I don't think it mattered like that much if you need to plan ahead. Like,
okay.
If you don't plan ahead, it's not going to kill you.
Okay.
So like if you don't dry it out.
But that was only on one bread option. Here are the options days later. So the idea was, should we put it in the oven or let it dry out naturally? These bad boys have been on the sheet tray for 2 full days. And I just want to recap really quick. We have your white bread, which is your standard loaf bread. We have challah bread. We have sourdough, because honestly, I love sourdough. And we have a brioche that's got a cinnamon swirl in it. The reality is, if you touch each individual one, you're going to notice that the moisture content is completely different, even though they've been drying out at the same time. Because the moisture content inside your bread is different depending on what bread you have. So it's not all uniform just to say dry it out for 1 day, 12 hours, 6 hours, or 2 days. One thing that I think that gets mixed in all of this is the custard. Now, this custard was made 2 days ago. And the reason why I let it sit like that, because this was my thinking. We all know that when you make your custard, your cinnamon floats up to the top. You traditionally would dip your French toast, and then the more French toast you dip, you realize that you get less cinnamon as you dip it, because cinnamon floats. So if you're going to take the time to stale your bread, dry your bread, or prepare anything ahead of time, why not make your custard ahead of time? And you guys know as well as I do, once you add your sugars inside your custard mixer, if you don't allow the proper time for the sugars to dissolve, then you'll notice there's like a glue on the bottom of your pan, and that's from your sugar. So did you really even need it? So this is 2 days old. If you notice on the bottom, we'll start stirring it up. That cinnamon has actually absorbed and fallen. And the reason why I'm thinking this, does this make a better custard? More uniform flavor. You may be asking, what the heck is in this? I'm glad you asked. It's my standard French toast batter. So let's go over it really quick. Half a cup of half and half. Do I feel like it's necessary? Maybe not, but I do think it adds value. 2 eggs. It's already been beaten. Doesn't matter if it's beaten now or later. Vanilla, white sugar, cinnamon, brown sugar. One person even mentioned that they add half a cup to their mixture of orange juice. And I replied, that's a really good idea. I've never thought about orange juice, but I do orange zest. So for this amount of filling, we're doubling this. This is the exact same thing. So this would be 2 parts. Go. It really comes down to adding a little unexpected pop of flavor. You're not trying to overpower your French toast. That's what your syrups, your berries, your creams, and all that stuff's for. But you do want a good base. All right, I'm mixing this up just like you would at home, because I do want to illustrate one thing really quick. During my testing process, since I didn't have a chance to mix this up, you can see already that I'm getting attacked by a horsefly. That thing is massive. Look at the cinnamon already rising to the top. So obviously, making your custard that far in advance doesn't seem to really matter. It might matter by dissolving the sugars, but the cinnamon distribution did not change at all. And I think at the end of the video, I can show you another secret that you'll like. Since this is the same mixture, it's just gonna go right in there. And that is our mix for today. Now that everything's done, we're talking about dippage. How long do you let your bread dip? Well, it really depends on, like I mentioned before, the moisture content in your bread. The drier the bread, the more moist or the more liquid it's going to be able to absorb. So if you're talking about your standard loaf bread, it doesn't take long at all. If it's fresh loaf bread and you dip it, I feel like that's how you really get your soggy French toast. I'm more of a crispy edge kind of guy. I thought I'd like the sourdough, but the reality is we both agreed after doing all of our testing, whether it be dry or fresh, that the sourdough is probably actually our least favorite, which is kind of weird. One honorable mention when talking about French toast, when you get bread that's already sliced, you don't have the option to slice it yourself. By buying whole loaves of bread, you can see that you can adjust your thickness based on how thick you guys want it. I prefer a thicker slice of French toast because when you keep it on the griddle, it takes a little bit longer to cook, and that's how you develop crispy edges. Still, you can't deny a fresh sourdough loaf. The one that I thought I would like the most would be the brioche. We like brioche hamburger buns, and I like the fact that there's cinnamon throughout it, so it takes a lot of pressure off of having a fantastic custard. But the winner is, and it was unanimous between us two and our other two kids, was actually the challah bread. Amazing, because this is very highly popular when it comes to French toast. So without further ado, let's make the best French toast we could possibly make on the griddle. And don't forget, their recipe will be on theflattopking.com. The griddle's heating up, and I'm gonna start soaking the bread. Now, I just wanna reiterate one thing. When it comes to griddle temperatures, it did seem like there was a huge disparity in what temperature you should be doing your French toast. I like to go like a medium low. I think all griddles are different, so depending if you have to alternate your burners, however you get there, we do have a griddle temp chart. The reason is because I feel like I like my French toast to cook a little bit longer. The higher temperature, the more apt you are to burning your French toast, and nobody wants burnt French toast. A little butter goes down because I happen to like butter on my French toast. See how nice and soft that butter is melting on a griddle? That's what I'm looking for. Roughly about 1.5 minutes is how long this bread's been soaking. And let me show you something. If you like the flavor a lot, don't take your bread upside down and let that stuff drain off. Keep your bread in the liquid, and then when you set it on the griddle, all that moisture is going to leak through the French toast as it's cooking. If one side's getting butter, I want the other side to get butter. Griddle's a little bit hotter over here. Remember, this is completely on low, so if you need to alternate your burners and turn them off, you can. By moving that French toast over, it also gives you another landing zone to allow your area to warm up. As I mentioned earlier, my little secret. So this is what we discovered while we were testing, okay? This is equal parts white sugar and brown sugar with cinnamon. So it's 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of white sugar, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Remember when I mentioned that when you start dredging, that the cinnamon kind of gets put on the first few pieces and then it gets less and less? This is a good way to counteract that. And I mentioned that I like the crispy. Imagine a smash burger. We talk about smash burgers. Weird, I know, right? That you cook it about 80% on one side and flip it, and you're not really worried about the crust on one side. If you let this French toast right here cook long enough on one side to get that nice dark color, let me show you right here. This is what we're looking for. See that? I still want it to go a little bit longer. Is take this cinnamon sugar for a little bit more depth of flavor and put right over top of it. And this is going to caramelize and give us that little crunch texture that a lot of times you're missing on French toast. Just like that. Now remember, it doesn't take long at all for that sugar to caramelize on the bottom. And right before I pull it, here is another option if you want to get fancy. Now, these are ready to pull, but I'm going to show you. Little creme brulee action, really charge that sugar. And last tip, get a cooling rack with a sheet tray and you can place it on top. This allows airflow underneath so it doesn't get soggy, especially when you're doing a lot of like big batches. And you can also set them in the oven like this to keep on warm or bump up that temperature to help cook it the rest of the way. Look at that caramelization right there. That is perfect. However you decide to finish your French toast, that is completely up to you. I happen to like the bourbon barrel maple. Fresh berries, throw a little Cool Whip in there, or a little powdered sugar. It's up to you, your French toast. But I do want you to hear this. That's what I'm talking about. Hear the difference? Now they come out of the woodwork.
I haven't eaten all day. I want to have the first bite. Which one is this?
The one with the, that's the plain one, I think. Good?
It's really good.
This is one with the griddle caramelized cinnamon sugar.
I want to try that one too.
Crunch. Let me show you the difference. See if you like it better.
We have our daughter taste testing over here.
That was my favorite. I like the crunch.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and have that one. That's your, I don't
And then there's another crunch option.
Yeah, this is the relayed one. Here.
Give it to me.
This is good. This is good. Try that one. Can you taste the orange zest in it?
I can taste it. Which is the one that was made with sourdough? Did you do that?
I didn't
No,
do this one.
We did not like the sour.
She got a chance to taste the ones that were home tested before we did this video. But the cinnamon sugar on there gives it some crunch. I like it.
Yeah, I like the cinnamon sugar. That was
Yep.
my favorite one. Because I'm also not an orange person. I don't like...
Let me
Here,
see.
this is the cinnamon sugar right here. Yeah, this was, even our other daughter picked this one over the other one. She liked the sourdough too, but she's a sourdough fan like I am, but she was surprised how the custard didn't get through it. We mentioned that. All right, guys, if you're interested, my daughter had a pajama party not too long ago. You check that video up there. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to press that subscribe button, pound the notification button, share with your friends. Till next time. Are you going to say, Are you going to eat any?
No, I'm waiting. I'm waiting patiently. My daughter.
Well, yesterday, my
Stole
youngest
the
daughter
show
took
today.
this and started chugging it in her mouth. Oh, honey,
Let me see.
you're missing out. You're worried about calories. Look at this. Little syrup, little cinnamon sugar on top, little Cool Whip. You get dangerous with that Cool Whip. Imagine what we can do with that thing.
Hey, our kid doesn't want to hear that.